And here we go into the
Yes.
great unknown of the Free Roam podcast. How are you, Mr. Joe Raptor?
I'm doing very well. I had a wedding today. Actually,
Got
during the day.
married. Wow.
It goes fast, right?
Yeah.
The other episode we were talking about dates. I'm already married now. I mean, when you just find someone you truly love, you just know, like, why wait, right?
That's how you guys do it in the Netherlands. Good for you, man.
Yeah, we can't do anything without being married. It's like impossible. You can't live together and stuff. No, I'm kidding. But a friend of mine got married, and it's like a 2-day event. So tomorrow we have the party, and today we just had some lunch, which was very nice. But yeah, that does mean that I had some alcohol already. So if I have some wild takes,
It's going to be a good
you know where
show.
it's from. It's gonna be a good show.
It's just going to cut to Joe Raptor. I don't think Assassin's Creed is that good. It's like, dun, dun, dun.
my God.
He's lost his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I did once this is like way back. I did like a stream where if I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn on ultra hard, and every time I died, I would take a shot.
Oh, God.
But I'm a really good gamer, so no, I was getting pretty drunk.
It was bad. It was a problem.
It was not good. It was not good. No, but yeah, it's been great. How are you doing? Of course, Summer Game Fest is in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So
Rocking and
prepping
rolling.
time.
Yeah, we're pretty much when we're wrapped up here, I'm going to go pack and get stuff set up to leave tomorrow. And then we got Summer Game Fest, and it's going to be a good time. I'm very excited. Summer Game Fest is weird this year because in years past, Jeff will like hype it up a lot, and then he'll maybe say like, well, you know, we can't reveal everything, but we think we have a really good show for everybody. This year, he is going to great lengths coming out ahead of time, it seems, to like calm people down.
No, I am a crazy person. I listened to his whole stream because what happened is that, of course, a lot of people are just like taking quotes that they saw on Twitter or whatever and spinning their own story.
Sure.
So I listened to the stream, and what he basically said was that he always gives his shows either a 7 or an 8. And there was this one time a Game Awards that was like insane or whatever. That he would give like a 9. So with that context, I think it's like an 8 is still a really solid thing. Like obviously he does, like it's way better for him to lower the expectations so that everyone is hopefully surprised or goes in with like average like expectations and is like blown away. But he's not saying it's gonna be a bad show. Like I see a lot of people talk about that, but that's not what he said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, for example, he specifically said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was pretty sure he specifically said no Kingdom Hearts 4, for example. He's like, we will not see that. We're not showing Silk Song. Like, no GTA 6. I know that's a stunner, but yeah, no GTA 6.
Someone asked about Half-Life 3, and he also said no.
It's like, I know this will be shocking, but no, it will not be at the show. And so, like, I get it. He's got to tone down expectations a little bit. But part of what also complicates it is that we have a couple of other shows happening in the immediate aftermath where, like, if Xbox has something big, they probably are showing it at their show. Like, they might do what Ubisoft's done in years past where they do, like, a little mini cinematic teaser trailer, and then it's like, for full gameplay reveal, watch the Xbox showcase. That way you double dip on viewership. Maybe they do that. But, like, for example...
I can totally see that.
If they're going to show Fable, kind of makes sense. Probably show most of Fable or all of your Fable stuff in the actual Xbox showcase. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like you probably don't need to blow your best stuff on Summer Game Fest. But as we've seen,
you have like 2 trailers like that. That's what happened last year with Mirage, for example. Assassin's Creed Mirage. It was at the at PlayStation Showcase, and then the gameplay walkthrough was at the Ubisoft event. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was announced at Summer Game Fest, and then during the Ubisoft Forward, we got like a gameplay look at it, and of course Star Wars Outlaws cinematic trailer at Xbox. and then they also had like the gameplay walkthrough at their own event. So I totally expect that.
Yeah. And I mean, we know for a fact that, for example, I'll put it on screen now for everybody listening at home. It's the poster of all of the partners for round one of Summer
yeah.
Game Fest. And on that banner, they have Ubisoft. And Ubisoft has an event 2 days later. And so it's like, Ubisoft's going to show something.
Yeah.
So is Xbox. Xbox is also on there. So
Yeah, but that's what Jeff also said during the stream. The partner list does not mean that it will be at the kickoff show. It's more like that they will be part of the weekend. So
right, which
it's
is usually
still
like
a bit
preview events,
wishy-washy.
or like if they have a game for you to try, or they have behind closed door demos and stuff like that, then they're part of Summer Game Fest, but they might not actually be in the presentation. But either way,
Yeah.
there's participation. It's not like Xbox has decided, no, we have our own show, we're not going anywhere near you. Like, there is still some collaboration.
Oh yeah, sure.
And
we know, for example, PlayStation has like still an unannounced thing, at least those rumors, like that Lego Horizon game that we did not see at the State of Play will likely show up at Summer Game Fest. My prediction is it's probably multi-platform. Like, I think they might even bring that to a Switch or something. Like, I would not be surprised, and that's why it maybe is showing up there instead of the State of Play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that would make sense, honestly. So it's gonna be, I think, nobody's expecting it to be a knockout, drag out, home run or anything. Nobody's expecting anything totally wild, and I think that's good because it sets expectations pretty level, and I think everybody's on the same page. It doesn't feel like anybody's braced for anything amazing or stunning. It's like people are, well, let's see what you got, and they kind of have accepted that 2024 is probably going to be more of a light year in terms of like huge AAA releases, and next year is when things will get pretty crazy with the big budget stuff.
Oh yeah, next year is insane, but I think this year still Wukong, Star Wars Outlaws, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Warhammer 40k. We first have the Elden Ring DLC, of course. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for people. Dragon Age is probably still coming this year. And I probably am Avowed, like all the Xbox games, Indiana Jones. I still think it's not bad. Like a few months ago, we were like, what is gonna happen? But I think it's filling up nicely. Kingdom Come Deliverance too. So I still think it will be nice, but obviously that's always with these, like, they're mostly going to show games from 2024. So if the year is indeed lighter than what we will get next year, it will also be a lighter show. But you also looked at that partner thing, and it does seem that, like, if you look at it, for example, and then you see Amazon games, you're like, hey, they're doing the Tomb Raider game. But then we saw the New World Twitter account tease, hey, we're going to do an expansion for New World or whatever. So, yeah, that's probably that and not the Tomb Raider game, which kind of sad. Also, Warner Bros. I mean, I already mentioned Horizon 2 times during this podcast. You have not said Suicide Squad yet. So, here's your chance.
I will just say, if their presence at the show is to reveal season 2,
they're doing it.
Oh my god. Like, I have been gifted the curse of foresight, and I am telling you now, if you thought the reaction to the Joker was negative,
oh yeah, I saw the thing. Yeah,
I think that this is going to be another planet of mockery, and so and this is the thing that I don't get. Like, they have to know the reception is going to be like that. If they don't, they absolutely deserve all the blowback they're going to get for it. But we'll see. I think they already said Wonder Woman will not be there, so it doesn't look like it's going to be Monolith.
I don't think that. I'm not sure did they say that? That would be interesting.
I vaguely remember them saying it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll Google.
What I saw though is that, and I also put it in our doc like that. Greg Miller heard from one person, like an insider, that the game is just sadly not doing really well. So yeah, the development is not going as smoothly as planned, and that makes sense because they made Shadow of War in 2017, and this is their next game that we still have not seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of weird to have this weird teaser trailer and then nothing for almost 3 years. So I don't think that was the plan, and likely it's because things are just not coming together. I hope it still works out. But we also have to remember that a lot of the team, or at least some of the leadership, has moved to like the Cliffhanger games, I think it's called. They're doing the Black Panther game for EA right now. So maybe like in a world, I could see them maybe be like, this is not coming together. We're live service focused anyways. Sorry, Monolith Productions, but RIP. I hope I'm wrong, of course.
Yeah, what a waste if that
Oh, yeah.
happens. What a waste.
And then the Nemesis system is like, we will never see it again.
yeah, such
Maybe.
a
I don't know.
tragedy. Mismanagement to its core.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, one thing I do think it's confirmed at this point, Monster Hunter Wilds, that's going to pop
that's
off.
gonna be cool.
Already people are super pumped with what we've seen through like the PlayStation State of Play. That looked really good. And there's a lot of interest in, okay, what's it looking like with the maps? How does that work? Because we know it's open world, but what exactly does that mean? The ability to swap weapons while actually out fighting monsters, that's super crazy and huge.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting to see. So I think there's a lot of interest there. We know that there's probably going to be something akin to like a Mafia 4 reveal.
Well.
Don't spoil it. Don't burn my hopes.
No, yeah, I'm gonna burn it because I something was feeling off about this when they announced it. Like, I really think if Jeff had BioShock, Borderlands, or Mafia, he might also be a bit more hyped, or they might be teasing more. 2K has said this during their investor call. We're gonna reveal like a new game from one of the most beloved 2K franchises during Summer Game Fest, and then they went quiet. And what is now happening? This is like 13 minutes ago on the leaks Reddit.
Ooh.
Semi-lazy gamer said this: the Civilization 6 portion of the 2K launcher was recently updated. And I think this is like probably the best. Luke is gone. I think I'm gonna take over the podcast now. I get it. I mean, but I think this is the perfect sort of expectations we should have. Like, this is a perfect way to look at the Summer Game Fest.
I just want
You
to be
think
happy.
something cool?
I just want to be
Sorry?
happy. I want to be happy again. And
Sorry,
this was
I
my
wanna-
chance. And now,
Yeah.
I like Civ. We all kind of like Civ. We play Civ for half an hour and then play something else. And that's part of the tradition of Civ. But maybe it just means that Mafia 4 is so amazing that they need extra time to cook.
mean,
Because granted, it's not been in
I-
development that long.
No, 2 years or something. That's like not a long time. They were working on something else after Mafia 3 first. But this is just very poorly managed. You can't, as 2K, with Borderlands 4, Mafia 4, and a new BioShock in development, BioShock 4 in a way as well. That's kind of crazy. That's
Mhm.
like all 4. And then post this tweet saying that you're gonna reveal from like a next iteration of one of the most beloved and then come out with Civ.
Yeah.
But they're probably gonna do it. I mean, I'm just gonna expect that from now on, and then I hope I'm surprised. But
Yeah.
that team has not made a game in a long time, or is it the SOCOM guys who's making Civ?
Yeah, it's been long enough. I think timeline wise, it probably makes more sense that it's Civ related. But I agree. It's just, if you say what they said, you should understand why people thought that, okay, this is probably like a BioShock or Mafia. But
yeah.
because like Civ's great. Like I'm being sassy about Civ. I do like Civ. I've played a lot of Civ. You know, I didn't play a lot of well, I played some Civ 5. I don't know. It's just, I have a lot of emotions right now. I'm running high. Okay. Civ will be fine. It'll be good, I'm sure. I hope they don't dumb it down even more, but I'm sure it'll be fun and good. But I need that Mafia fix. I need that fix. So
Yeah, but also the moment he said we won't have like a one more thing, like of course the Mafia would have been like cool one more thing though. Like if you have a Bioshock or a Mafia laying around, Borderlands, I never really believed, like apart from them having the movie, I was kind of like in tune with the whole Borderlands community. Played a lot of 3, covered it a lot, and I did not hear a beep from 2K or any, like they did not reach out. And of course, if they did, I would not be telling, but I think right now I can say that I've heard nothing. So I think that if there was something Borderlands, I would be feeling it more.
well, and they were just bought out by 2K, right? So it would be
Yeah.
a pretty quick turnaround to be bought and then get everything set up for a big announcement and stuff. It's possible. I mean, maybe that's why they decided to pull the trigger and buy him.
Again, like for Tiny Tina, I knew the whole plan before it was gonna happen. So again, and that was also a Summer Game Fest reveal. So that's why I was kind of like, I'm not sure. We have a donation here, Floki AFC. What are the odds that 2K reveal FIFA? I mean, that's of course not linked to the most beloved. That would be funny.
Can you imagine if
most
that's what they
2K
thought was most
franchise.
beloved?
FIFA.
Don't you all like football? It's great. Yeah.
I mean, they could still reveal it, but I think they probably need more time. Like they started 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Like if you come at the king, you better not miss. Like they have to get this right, and I think they're probably doing the FIFA game, but it's gonna take a longer time.
Yeah. So there's all that. What are some other things that we can expect to see at SGF?
I think Black Myth Wukong, the PlayStation Store page just went up. I linked that here as well. And that's interesting because it wasn't there for a long time. Like we knew about the August 20th date for a really long time, but yeah, it was like usually when a game company announces a date, and they announced this I think at the Game Awards, they're usually like, hey, pre-order immediately. But for Black Myth that did not happen. So like they're still sticking seemingly with the August 20th date because that's also on the PlayStation Store page. So that's why I would not be surprised if we got like a cool new look at the game, and then also like the additions, and hey, you can like pre-order it now. And I really think that people are underestimating how big this game is going to be.
Because I think coming off of the high of the Elden Ring DLC, and then getting this, which is a really high production value from what I can tell. I haven't played it, you have. It seems to be a game where a lot of those players will funnel after they finish the DLC. Do you think there's a lot of crossover between those players? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, 100%. But I think a lot of people who will likely be turned off by the Elden Ring DLC will get into this because it's way more approachable. It's still focused really on the boss fights and learning the moves and getting better, etc., trying over and over again. But in my opinion, it felt a bit more fair in a way that Wukong himself is like very strong as well. You have like very cool abilities, and you can probably grind it out to get much better as well. Like I really think this game is way more approachable. Also, your character has just way more moves in terms of like how he moves on the battlefield. So I really think it's gonna be a more approachable game, and also people who like the From Software games and that type of challenge will also really like it here. I do think they have difficulty options. I think they already said that. So again, it's gonna be a more approachable but still very impressive Souls-like type of game for everyone, I think.
Yeah, and they've been very transparent. They've been at tons of shows for the last couple of years, and they've done playable demos and all sorts of stuff, which is a good sign for a new studio, a new game.
100%.
Being willing to showcase it is a good sign. Because a lot of people, I saw one person in our chat like last week probably, and they were like, I don't know, it just seems like one of those vaporware games where it's from a new team and it looks too good to be true, but it's like people have played it. Like you can actually play those missions that they've shown, and
yeah, it was really easy for them to be like it was really easy for this to be a, I don't want to say cyberpunk situation, but you get what I mean, right? Where they showed that walkthrough and then those things were not in the game, the wall running and or climbing that they had with the mantis blades and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was actually like the gameplay they have been putting out for years. Of course, it was still like a very, like it was still a developer build. It was, instead of being a linear sort of path through the game, there were like multiple levels that you were selecting, and then you started at the boss at the end. While in the real game, it should of course be, yeah, one flow. So it's gonna be interesting, but I have hope because again, they've been not very cagey about it, and I really expect them to ramp up the marketing after, yeah, starting with Summer Game Fest and maybe release a demo. I can see that do that.
I could see them doing a demo. I mean, it looks like they're self-publishing it as well. Yeah, Game Science.
I think they are, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, has Game Science published anything else that's big? I don't actually know. Mm, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I get why people are. I mean, yeah, I mean, we can just wait and see, but I have hope. The only thing I'm like, maybe they will not reach or like, yeah, get the game out on the August the 20th, but we will see about that.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's been in the works for a long time. It's looked good for a very long time. So we will find out soon enough. It's quickly approaching. So, with that, other things, I think I agree. Black Myth would make a lot of sense to see. Beyond that, just today there was some stuff that happened on social media suggesting that we might see an announcement of a DLC for Alan Wake 2 that they've been hinting at. So
yeah, makes sense.
I totally think that lines up and checks out. They've hinted it, like, it's not even hinting at this point. They're just like, see you on the 7th. Like, it's pretty clear.
Where are you? And they have been like doing a lot of Alan Wake 2 promotion during Summer Game Fest like last year as well. So I think it only makes sense.
Mhm.
The Metaphor Refantasio game from the Persona maker should be there. A lot of like AAA free-to-play games are gonna show up, like the first Descendant. It's like kind of an Outriders type game with heroes from Nexon. So a lot of the Asian developers are releasing those types of games. We have like, yeah, like, so I mean, we saw that during the State of Play as well. The what was it called? Blade of Antilla, or what was the name again? You remember which one it was? It was like we have Where Winds Meet, of course,
Yeah.
which also free to play, and we have like, can't remember the name, but it looked pretty cool. It was like a linear action RPG, where which was also free to play. I'm gonna look up the name right now, but yeah, I expect a lot of those types of games. And Once Human, I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Oh yeah, I've
That's
tried Once
also-
Human. It's actually
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah.
I do think we'll see
Ballad of Antara is the name.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jeff, you know, he gets some heat sometimes because he will often be the spot where, like, if a publisher comes in and they want to advertise or show off their new live service game or their mobile game or this or that, he'll usually say yes, as long as it's not like totally terrible. So I do expect we'll see a lot of those, like, both AAA and smaller budget mobile games and live service projects looked at. He'll probably sprinkle them in between big reveals. So they might do Monster Hunter Wilds and then 2 trailers for mobile games, and then like another big game and then some little stuff here and there. So I do think we'll get plenty of that mixed in.
And finally a new Batman Arkham game.
Yeah.
For VR.
For VR. That's something. It's something.
Oh, that's, yeah. I mean, I hope they don't count that as Warner Bros. Because it's more like, but it probably
is
Warner Bros. Games, but because it's like more a MetaQuest 3 exclusive thing.
Yeah, Meta is also going to be there. Meta's confirmed to be a partner too, so that would make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I would mostly count it towards that.
Do you think we see Dragon Age Dreadwolf at Summer Game Fest, or do you think we see it at the Xbox showcase? Because I think we
it's
see
a coin.
it. It's just
Yeah. I think it's a coin flip. But yeah, I think because for Summer Game Fest they've been basically telling us almost everything, and for Xbox they are really tight-lipped. So I think it's gonna be Xbox because, like, for Summer Game Fest, again, Alan Wake is teasing. We have a very, like, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 today said, hey, we're having a new trailer. I really think if Dragon Age was part of that, Jeff also wanted to tweet saying, hey, we have the Dragon Age trailer. Come watch our show.
right.
It could still happen that they have it as a surprise, but that's like a pretty big, come watch our show. While Xbox again has been very tight-lipped, so
I think Xbox
yeah.
understands. Well, let me correct this. They better understand the assignment that they've been given right now, because Xbox, like, customer morale is rock bottom right now. I mean, people are kind of ashamed to admit that they play games on Xbox and they're Xbox fans.
I do feel though, and I'm kind of like victim, or like it's kind of my thing as well. Like I already forgot. It's crazy how time kind of heals all wounds in a way. But oh yeah, they can't, like, I remember like seeing the news when they shut down Tango and Arcane Austin, and I was like, what the heck? This is so sad, and they don't deserve that. But I'm right now already, and I'm not seeing anyone talk about it anymore. It's like gone.
Yeah, I think it's Rage seems to be explosive and it burns bright, but it's ultimately a destructive force and it destroys itself as well. And we've seen that with the rage over, for example, the PSN requirement. People were like mass downvoting Helldivers 2. Then Ghost of Tsushima comes out on PC and also requires it for online play, but they also do not sell the game in those territories where you can't make a PSN account. And all of a sudden people just kind of moved on. They kind of forget about it. And then we get this news that, like, for example, the God of War Ragnarok PC port will require a PSN account as well. Even though it has no multiplayer component, it will also require it. And already people are like, well, oh well. And they just move on. Like, I think people will freak out about stuff initially, and then they get used to it, move on. Like, that's why, honestly, with some of these games that are on longer, like, marketing schedules, like AC Shadows, people freak out about the multiple editions thing, as if people just woke up and realized that that's happening. It's like, yeah, welcome to 2013. That's a thing that happens now. But they're going to burn out on the rage about it and move on, and when the game releases, it won't really be a topic. So I'm interested to see how it plays. I just think, like, Phil has been pretty much, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I don't know if he has made any public appearances. I don't think he has since that happened. Sarah Bond has been places. You saw one? Where was
it? Not like a public appearance, but like a tweet. Because he's going to be, and this is going to be very interesting, he's going to be at IGN Live after the Xbox show. Ryan McCaffrey, of course, the host of the Xbox Unlocked podcast at IGN, is going to interview him for an hour. So, I mean, that's, I think, awesome. Like, we can say what we want about him, but he's not backing out. And any other executive would have been like, this is not the best time to go talk to a journalist.
I don't think Jim Ryan once went to do those interviews. Like, not once.
I mean, he did with some tech outlets like The Wire or something like that, or like another outlet.
But it was never with gamers, like gamer gamers. It was always like bigger publications and stuff. Like, he'd talk to Bloomberg or he'd talk to the Wall Street Journal or something, but like, God forbid he speaks to gamers while running a gaming business. But, yeah, I mean, it's one thing. I don't think Phil was reveling in the layoffs. I don't think any executive who's not a sociopath does it. Like, I think it's pretty clear the layoffs came from on high. It came from Satya and the CFO, and they were told, cut your workforce by this percentage. And that's what they did. And it's happening worldwide. My dad got laid off like on Monday from his job. Like, it's happening everywhere, even outside of the gaming space. And it sucks. And it's something everybody wishes didn't happen, but it's just the reality. Companies overexpand, then they cut back. They overexpand, then they cut back. And it's just how things are. And I think, Phil maybe was like, how am I supposed to get in front of a camera and defend this when I don't think it's defendable? Or like, I just don't think we can justify it. So we'll see. I think Phil is trying his best to build Xbox into a platform that's sustainable in the long term, but that's involving reworking things, and it's sort of reinventing the wheel in a way, because they are losing to PlayStation at PlayStation's game. So they just said, screw this. We're going to make our own game and do what we do well. And that's freaking people out, but it's a different animal. But we'll see. I think Xbox probably has a lot of stuff to show. We know they're going to make a big deal of Call of Duty, similar to the Starfield showcase last year. They're doing that for Call of Duty this year. I don't really care that much about it.
Let's first, before we continue with Xbox, do the donation here from Nerdy Giant. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate it. I'm gonna like it in the YouTube chat as well. Not sure if you saw, but someone leaked that 2K game is not the Mafia but Civilization. Thoughts? Do you believe it? The Nerdy Giant. We actually, Luke already left this room when he.
I had a bit of an episode. It's okay. I'm recovering.
So thanks for reminding him of this. But yeah, it seems to be it. I'm just gonna expect it now that it's not Mafia anymore. While we had 2 reasons to believe it was gonna be Mafia, with like 2 sources saying that had been right before, but now
what if it's both?
There's some we're now getting too close, and now other people are like kind of being like, it's probably Civilization. I think they really poorly managed this, if that is Civilization, because again, that tweet says one of the most beloved, like a next iteration of one of the most beloved franchises. You got it done. Like, you knew what people were expecting, but
it's like, well, technically we're right. It's like, okay, but still, what you did. You know what you did. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for the super chat, my friend, Nerdy Giant. Appreciate you. With all this,
let's look at Xbox.
I was just gonna say, obviously, elephants in the room that we know are in the room. Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, basic things we know about it. It's another Call of Duty game. Gulf War. It's I always mix up the teams that are working on it. It's the team behind Treyarch. So if you're a fan of Treyarch's games, then cool. Beyond that, it's cross-generational. It looks like it's going to be on Game Pass day 1, so that's a long-term play. That's an interesting strategy shift, but it doesn't really surprise anybody. Anybody who's shocked by that, I remind them they paid $70 billion for this company. So they're going to add it to their platform. Beyond that, I think, we have to see Indiana Jones. That's releasing later this year. We have to see a pretty good deep dive on that. I think extended gameplay will be important. Yeah. Even just a 5-minute sequence would be good.
Yeah, because then we can kind of see the first person, because that's of course what people are kind of wondering. It's like not your typical action adventure in terms of perspective. So it's going to be first person in terms of gameplay. There will be third person cutscenes where you will see Indiana Jones, and then there will also be some third person like platforming and stuff when he's like climbing on a freaking when he's climbing
up like vines or whatever.
Something like that. You will see him.
I think I'm not there's so much rage in the industry nowadays. I never know what to take serious or not, and I honestly I don't. People who are saying I was gonna buy it, but like totally I was gonna play the game, and then I saw that it's first person through most of the gameplay, and so I'm out. Like, I really don't think that those people
I don't buy it.
Were ever going to try it, or they're probably just rage baiting, and it's like they're still gonna play it, like whatever. It's the same people who were like anyway, I don't want to get down another tangent, but I think Indiana Jones looks good. I think as they show more, I'm expecting people to get more into it. Does it have broader mainstream appeal? I really honestly don't know. I don't know how big Indiana Jones is nowadays. I don't think the newest movie did that great. And
Okay, I'm
And
gonna look at the trailer and see what the views are. You can guess. So the Indiana Jones reveal trailer, like the highest.
I'm gonna guess
The highest one.
3.1 million.
It's better than I expected. 7.9.
Oh wow. Okay, that
That's
puts it
pretty
up there
good,
with like
but
AC Shadows.
but it's 44,000 likes. So maybe they did boost it, but probably not. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good
What's
point.
the dislike ratio though?
I also don't put any weight at all into the dislike ratio anymore
Nah.
because I'm like,
Oh, it's really good. It's 44,000 likes, 3.7 dislikes.
okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So that, I mean, that's pretty good. They probably
Yeah,
did boost
Oppenheimer
it.
did well.
If there's only 44,000 likes, but still, that's
I would not say, because we also have the. Okay, yeah, I think they did boost it because we have the IGN trailer, 1.4 million with 47,000 likes.
yeah.
So more likes than the 7.9 from Indiana Jones. Okay, so then we cannot look at the trailer to see if the game is doing well. They want to make this a thing, it seems. They put some Disney dollars behind it. So
Yeah, hey, if it works, it works. So I fully expect that's gonna be a solid game. Is it a masterpiece?
Yeah.
Probably not, but I fully expect that's probably like
I think so too.
it's gonna be a good time. Beyond that, I think we have to see the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield. That's already, it's a little bizarre that it's been like approaching a year and we haven't had any real DLC for the game. With Fallout 4, we had every major expansion like by now. I'm pretty sure we had already had Nuka World and we'd already had
I hope
Far
it's
Harbor.
bigger though. Like I hope it's like those two combined or something like that. It's like really big, but maybe I'm like
it's just tricky because we don't really know what to expect. They've been extremely tight-lipped about it. It could be that it's just, oh, there's some new planets to explore. And that I don't think
1,005 instead of 1,000.
I don't think that'll excite many people. It could be that it's like a new faction and there a whole new quest line associated with that. That could be cool. That could be interesting. But in the past, their DLC either adds scale and scope with something like Nuka World, or it adds intense narrative that is much more interesting than, or typically it's more interesting than what was in the main story of the base game. So like Far Harbor, great DLC, pretty limited scope, but narratively really good. Nuka World, narratively really lackluster, but in terms of scope and scale and spectacle, it was cool. And with this, I don't really know what they're going for. Maybe both. We can hope for both. But Starfield also, just by way of how it's designed, is not the same type of game where you can just add like a new little section of the map. It's like, well, that for Starfield is like another solar system, or not. Like, what does that actually mean? Yeah, like G Mendes says in chat, more rocks. But these rocks have 16 times the detail.
16 times the detail.
Oh my god, nice. Do you, by the way, think the vehicles will be ready for the DLC? I don't think so.
No, they said like later this year. And they also phrased it in that video where they were kind of framing it around it being separate from the DLC. They were not saying we'll bring the
Seems like an
DLC and the
update.
rovers at the same. Like,
I think when they launched on PlayStation, they will.
yeah, honestly. Well, what's crazy is that those rovers, they, in the little half second of gameplay footage we saw of it on somebody's monitor, you can see that it has a boost meter, and as they're driving, it's boosting. So what I would bet is that they're basically just repurposing the same boost pack jetpack thing, and they're just changing the shape so your character sits now instead of being standing and jumping, and it's the same like mechanism as the boost pack, but just in a rover form factor. And I don't, other than like being able to press one button and then it just drives forward, I don't think it's going to change anything at all. Like, I really don't think so. I think anybody who's like, yeah, and then they're going to add speeder bikes and they're going to add helicopters and all that, like, no, dude. It's gonna
no.
And it's gonna tank frames. This is Bethesda Game Studios we're talking about. It's not Magic. It's the same company that in their latest update that was supposed to be big and jaw-dropping to like Fallout 4, they broke every mod, which didn't surprise anybody, and then they added ultra wide support that completely broke the UI. Like they did not test their own ultra wide support that they added to the game. So I would not put any decent expectation on it. You know, it's pretty rock bottom in terms of what you should expect. But beyond that, I think we should see a look at that.
Yeah.
As for other
I'm
stuff,
curious about it.
it's
Should be the September is what they're
targeting.
what the Verge was saying.
So-
and then Avowed is the other one, of course, that we already know about.
Mhm.
That will be coming.
What are your thoughts on Avowed? Because I feel like it looked interesting at first, and then this latest trailer kind of weirded people out. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that first cinematic was a bad move because it got people the wrong idea of what this game is gonna be, because it feels like what Outer Worlds was for Fallout, but this is Avowed for Elder Scrolls, like a smaller budget action RPG, with still like a heavy focus on the choices and stuff that Obsidian is of course known for, but just not maybe with the polish and stuff that you expect. Like the demo they showed earlier this year during the developer direct, it did not warm my heart. And if that was the thing that they decided to show for their coming out party, that's not a good look. At least the artwork looks really cool. The sort of skeleton,
The box art.
yeah, the skeleton thing looks really cool. And I think the gameplay could still be fun. I like the sort of dual wielding things they got going on, and how you can kind of combine different attacks to get some cool combos going. So I want to keep an open mind. I think this is going to be a very, very important moment for them. And yeah, I hope it's great, but the first said it's November. Like, that is already for me a sort of, I got another RPG to play in November. That will take all my time. So I hope it's great. Maybe they push it a bit if it needs more time. But on the other hand, I expect this to be a game that they kind of a Hellblade situation. They launch it, people will try it, people will like it. In a week, we won't hear about it. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I hope it surprises us because, again, Obsidian is great, but I'm not feeling it as of yet.
Same. I think what you said at the top is precisely right. I think it's I think that initial trailer was a bit of an oopsie. Just because for me it was the tone. It's in like a dark cave. You see the purple hand come up with the magic and all this, and it looks super dark and gritty and interesting. It's like, ooh. So it's like Elder Scrolls rated M. It's okay. I'm in. And then we saw it, and the whole trailer and developer direct and everything is like, yeah, it's extremely colorful and everything looks like, you know, a butterfly and the whole world's like a snowflake. And it's just like, that wasn't what I thought we were getting. It doesn't mean it's bad, but I'm still a little frustrated because I was expecting something literally the opposite. So maybe if they show it again, it could help. Nerdy Giant says in a $2 super chat, thank you for that, possibly Fable gameplay with release window. Yeah, I think in addition to Avowed, Fable is one of the potential ones. I haven't seen or heard any rumors or expectations about it. What has been rumored and is almost certainly going to be there is Doom and a new Gears game.
I want to talk a bit about Fable as well before we talk about those big reveals.
Yeah.
Because I would be shocked if it's not here. Sarcasm is saying, if they don't show Fable, I'm suing Xbox. I won't go that far, but I like this game was when Xbox, of course, revealed the Series X, like their first Xbox showcase in 2020 in the summer as well. They had this game and Perfect Dark, and we only have seen 2 trailers for it. The last one left much to be desired. We saw some glimpses of gameplay. I really, really think that for them to bring this home, they have to be like, maybe start to show it, bam, and then someone is like actually playing the game. You see the HUD, we see everything, 5 minutes, bam, and then at the end, 2025. Like, I think they have to bring that home, but I'm afraid that they will maybe not do it. But then again, we're looking at a 6-year development cycle already or something. Like, you would think that they already were working on it before they announced it. So that's not a good thing. But yeah, I hope for the best. I think this is, for me, the most exciting thing they have in their exclusive lineup. And I'm really curious about Perfect Dark as well. That's up there as well. Only like more the promise of that game. Um, yeah, because we also have not really seen a lot of it. I also hope we see that here, and hopefully with some sort of release window. But just seeing the gameplay would already be great. But I think they really have. If Fable is a no-show, or if they do a vague trailer again, I'm just worried about it.
Yeah. Well, and just to frame how much stuff Xbox could show here, Joe Raptor in our document collected potential releases, and I'll just read these off and just like listen to all these and understand how many potential trailers and like pretty big things they could drop. There's Fable, there's Perfect Dark, South of Midnight, Clockwork Revolution, which I think shows very well, State of Decay 3, which has been reported to be greatly improved over the last
I know.
Persona 6, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, Diablo 4 has an expansion coming late 24 that recently has been on the upswing. People are loving it again after the latest big update. They've got a lot that they could showcase, and that's in addition to like Indiana Jones, Starfield, Avowed, Call of Duty, Doom, Gears of War. Like they have the potential to just dominate this next week and be the house that has all the cards. Like that really seems to be the case. PlayStation didn't really do a whole lot to wow anybody with their showcase. Of course, Concord looks stunningly amazing in every way, but beyond that, there's really not a whole lot.
$40.
Yeah, that did just drop. Like whatever PlayStation Australia or whatever it was accidentally revealed pricing early. Yeah, $40 for basically just a reskin version of Overwatch that's probably a little bit worse.
Tough sell.
Really tough sell. Yeah, really tough sell. We can maybe talk about that here in a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts. But beyond this, all of this to say, I think Xbox is primed to really hit this out of the park and make people go, oh, that's right. Xbox does have some big stuff, and get excited.
Yeah.
I hope they actually do that. I hope they actually do come out swinging because they have the stuff to do it. And I think their fan base really needs it right now.
Yeah, 100%. And you already mentioned Doom and Gears of War. Like of course if you look at their Xbox Studios, we know about a lot of things they already have announced. But yeah, we know id Software has been working on a new game ever since Doom Eternal came out in 2020, and yeah, we now, through very reliable insiders, have learned that it's Doom: The Dark Ages, so basically like a more medieval Doom. The project name should be Doom Year Zero. So seeing that, I mean, I like these games, so I think that's gonna be really cool. And I think Gears of War, even if you're not like into those games, I think it will be a very good Unreal Engine 5 showcase title. I think Jaws will drop probably when we see that gameplay, and that could be another big win for them. So that's already exciting. What do you think? Something Fallout? I think they would be stupid not to do it, right? Even if it's far away.
I mean,
not like a big game, but maybe the remaster of Fallout 3 or something.
Yeah, so the Fallout 3 remaster was quote unquote leaked as part of the FTC hearing documents. It was on one of their slated schedules for things coming. And at that same time, Year Zero as well was on there. And at that time, you know, it was kind of interesting because like Phil Spencer came out around that time and was like, just understand any old schedules, some of the information will be accurate, others might not. Things change. And that might just be him like trying to say literally anything because he doesn't want to be like, oh God, our next 5 years are spoiled, you know? So maybe it was that. It could also mean that maybe plans have changed. Maybe they did cancel the Fallout 3 remake and, you know, that could be why he said that. But if Fallout 3 remake is happening, I don't think it's been clear who's allegedly working on or remaster. God damn it. If it's a remaster,
yeah, it's
and that's
probably a remaster.
Oh my God. It's just going to be Fallout 3 that runs probably worse than like modded and tweaked versions. But anyway, we'll see that if it exists. I think it just makes too much sense. Even if it's still like a year away, they'll show it and try to get people excited. I don't know how well a remaster is received, because it'll basically just be seen as a re-release for a lot of people. But if it's an actual remake and it does look significantly better, that could get people actually excited. But honestly, for me, what's bizarre is that what would make me the most excited is if I found out it was coming from any team other than Bethesda Game Studios. If I found it was coming from a different team that was actually remaking it, then I'd be more pumped, because the quality control at BGS seems to be all over the place, whereas I think a separate team that can look at it a little more outside and top down could do a really good job. So I would love that, but I think most likely we'll see like an announcement of new Call of Duty skins that are power armor, and there's going to be like a whole season of power armor and Fallout themed stuff where you get the Vault Boy emotes and everything.
I mean,
that might already be in the game.
Yeah, I already saw the Fallout 76. Like they're of course doing a new region that you can already test on the server. So that they're probably gonna show that. But I hope that there's more than just that for Fallout. Like again, this year really proved to them, and it's crazy that they probably figured it out when the show launched, that Fallout is their biggest series they have.
Yeah.
So I hope it was not then that they had like the alarm bells and were like, why aren't we putting more resources in Fallout? I hope that they were already doing stuff. And Todd Howard has appeared on podcast saying that, hey, we are doing more, or 2 or 3 Fallout things that people don't know about. So I hope that one of them is early, and maybe this year already, like a Fallout 3 remaster to kind of still ride on that high. I think they're already kind of too late, but it would of course be pretty big if they at least did something. But I agree with you. Remaster, is that really gonna work? Like, it kind of depends on what they remaster and if they change some gameplay things as well.
Yeah. I'm hopeful, but with all things BGS related, it's best to keep expectations low. Because I heard that interview that Todd Howard gave where he was mentioning the multiple Fallout projects and stuff that they were working on. And the way it was phrased could be interpreted a couple different ways. You could interpret it as, we have the Fallout 3 remake and we have some other Fallout project, like maybe a New Vegas remake or something also in the works. And then, eventually we'll work on Fallout 5. The other way to interpret it was that we have Fallout 5 in 2035 coming, and then we have like maybe a Fallout 3 remaster or remake. One's much more interesting than the other, I feel. So time will tell. But I would bet money if there is anything in the works Fallout related, besides just Fallout 76 stuff, if there's anything Fallout related, I think that they reveal it in some capacity, even if it's a long ways off, just to capitalize on some of the interest and hype. So I agree there. But there's just so much stuff that Xbox could come out swinging with to excite people. State of Decay 3, I think.
I saw some people say Stalker 2 will be there as well. So
Stalker 2, okay. Yeah, I think that would totally make sense.
I think that game won't be great though, but I played it at Gamescom. It was really bad.
Oh, really? What was bad about it?
Yeah. I mean, it was also the build, but there, for example, if you get shot, you would not see one of the blood like on your so there was no indication to know if you were getting shot, if you were getting hit. And it just really felt like a it's kind of harsh to say, but it felt like a playground for death still. I mean, it had a cutscene at the start, but then you were just thrown into this very old school flat level where they had some areas like it had some openness to it, but there was nothing to find. I found like a bottle of water or an energy drink that gave me some things while I was like looking around every corner and seeing if I could grab things. The AI was really, really bad. So I mean, it looks cool. It has like I know people like that setting, but I hope they they did some magic in that year because they want to launch it in September already.
Hmm.
It was not great from what I played. It was really the worst thing I played at Gamescom. So
Oh, oh,
not good.
not good. Not good. Beyond that, Clockwork Revolution, if they show that, that could be a really cool and interesting competitor to Judas that probably comes next year. And it's very BioShock-esque. It's pretty clear where the inspirations are. So that could be really, really interesting. South of Midnight, haven't really heard anything about it, but that's something in their back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool, but it's the developers from We Happy Few, so we have to wait and see because We Happy Few had like a cool setting as well, and then it kind of fell flat in the gameplay department. So,
Mhm.
and yeah, in terms of like third parties, I mean, last year we had Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, we already mentioned Dragon Age that could either be here or at the Summer Game Fest on June 7th. It's gonna be very interesting, but yeah, last year Ubisoft had Star Wars Outlaws. Like, they could also have Assassin's Creed Shadows here. That would be pretty cool to already get like a gameplay trailer. Again, they did it for Mirage as well. Just a 2-minute gameplay trailer, tease it a bit already, show some cool stuff, and then be like you said, hey, at the Ubisoft Forward, you can watch a full walkthrough. Come watch. I can see that.
I think it just makes sense. The fact that Ubisoft's done it before, I put money on them doing it with Xbox as well, or even SGF, just because it's like you can double dip on viewership. Like the Ubisoft Forward, you might get, I don't know how many millions of people would watch it, but just make up numbers. You get 10 million people total to watch Ubisoft Forward. If you have another, maybe 15 million that watched the Xbox showcase across all the different platforms globally, there's probably some crossover between those two things, but there's an extra 5 million people and you just got exposed to them and maybe pull in an extra few 100,000. Like that's why not? Why not? If you've got it and you have the trailer, why not do it?
Yeah. 100%.
So I think that makes sense. Thank you guys for the super chats. We'll circle back to those in just a second, but yeah, I just think Ubisoft has shown that they understand it's free marketing for them, and if they can double dip, I think it makes too much sense not to. So
yeah, 100%. And if they got like a deal with Xbox, I mean, big Assassin's Creed games like Mirage did not have one, but big Assassin's Creed games always have like a deal. And that's of course another thing at Xbox. We might see new hardware, and not like a pro version, but there were leaks about like a diskless Xbox Series X. We could totally see that, and maybe that will be marketed with Shadows or whatever. Maybe, I don't know.
Mhm.
So yeah, it seems like because it was not at the State of Play, maybe it is at the Xbox show. But we at least know for a fact that on June 10th we will see Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, and I'm very hyped about that. But let's go to the super chats for now.
Yeah, Blake Rogers with a 5. Thank you for that. I'm surprised more companies don't revive dormant franchises like Jack and Daxter. I'd poop my pants, literally, if RWD Faction or Red Faction.
Red Faction. Yeah.
I love the old school Red Faction games. If it gets announced with a new game. The difficulty with that is that Volition got shut down after Saints Row reboot, and I think they own the rights to it, right?
I mean, did she not buy the Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered edition?
They should have won Game of the Year just for that.
Yeah,
just
for
for
the
that.
best edition name award.
I thought everyone was joking when they said that, and I was like, no, that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was great. But yeah, I love Red Faction as well. The old school Red Faction game, like the very first one. Oh, played the crap out of that. Where you could actually like tunnel. Red Faction Guerrilla, played a crap ton of that. Like I really like those games. I enjoy them. I find them really satisfying and just good escapist entertainment because it is just like pure chaos and it's fun.
But
I don't.
Why are they not making it?
Because the last one, Red Faction Armageddon, that's what it was called. It was like, what's the coolest thing about our games? Destructible environments, being able to destroy a whole like skyscrapers, just tear them apart and have them collapse in real time. Okay, let's set our entire game underground in caves.
Was it Armageddon?
I think so. Am I just making that up? making up that name. I thought it was
Red
Armageddon.
Faction Armageddon. Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is just a weird choice. It's a weird choice, and they didn't really bring anything new to the table or super interesting. The spectacle didn't really increase, so it just fell flat, and the franchise just kind of died out. And my understanding is they're just expensive games to make. It's pretty tough to get all that stuff running. But I think nowadays, having something unique like that, where the entire game is built on like destructible environments and stuff, could be a winner. But I honestly don't know where the rights lay. I think if Volition was working on a Red Faction game before they were shut down, we would have heard about it by now. And the fact that we've not heard about anything related to that makes me think it's just not happening.
I mean, looking at also the remastered collection, like 1,500 people at the peak played that. Like, and also, I mean, Jack and Dexter is mentioned here as well. Like these games, also we, of course, thanks to the Insomniac League, learned the amount of copies that these games sell. And if they sell more than 3 million, that's like huge. They sell way less. So what all these companies sadly right now are looking at, because why Red Faction got the remastered edition, is because it was Embracer, of course, getting all these IPs and seeing where they could get some quick bucks. And that's why they went back to these franchises. But yeah, very quickly realized, okay, this is not really working. And Sony, like, why revive dormant franchise like Jack and Dexter? Like, who's gonna make it? It's not gonna be Naughty Dog, because it would be stupid for them to not make Last of Us Part 3 or like waste any resources on a title that, again, 3 million is a lot for that series. The Last of Us Part 3 will sell 3 million in one day.
Yeah.
So it's like, and especially now also with, and that's the sad reality of where we are in the industry. But did you see, for example, Sony last week also did their PlayStation like business thing, and they had like a graph where it was 51% of all the revenue from the PlayStation Store comes from 10 games. GTA Online, FIFA, like all these like big live service games, Apex Legends, etc., etc. And these games sell with one skin, probably generate more money than a Jack and Dexter game. And that's the sad reality that we're in. Like, I would love these games to be back, but it's just like, we like them, but it's just not like the new people that are growing up don't know about these characters. Like, I don't think there's a market for it anymore, sadly. And again, who's gonna make it? It's not like I see people say Sly Cooper. Like, I want Sucker Punch to make Ghost of Tsushima, and they're doing that, and that has way more potential for them. So that's kind of the sad reality that we're in. There's just no way to go about it, because would you really want the Jack and Dexter from a studio that's not Naughty Dog? I don't know. And Sony is like, okay, we can invest 50 million in a Jack and Dexter. We could also try one of these live service games for 50 million. If that sticks, it's gonna make way more money in the long run. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, sadly.
Yeah, and I think what the point you raised about the player base, we are kind of boomers, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're old.
We're old. The next generation of gamers, and this is something I hadn't really thought of until I saw a post about it, pointing it out. But like, the next generation of gamers will be raised not on games like Jack and Daxter or Red Faction, but they were raised on Fortnite. They were raised on Roblox. They were raised on these live service games that are built around battle passes, V-Bucks, paying $10 for a skin here, $20 for a skin there. And it's almost like a social currency. I told the story a bunch of times of my little brother who didn't want to play Fortnite with me unless I got a paid skin, because if I was playing with noob skins, his friends would make fun of me and then make fun of him for having a brother that had noob skins. Like, that social pressure is how these companies make all this money. And that's the world in which this next generation of gamers is being raised. Like, that's what they will look back on and be like, oh, remember back when I would buy that fry from Futurama skin? I got it for $20. Man, that's when gaming was simple. Like, that's what they're going to look back on. And we're just now starting to see those gamers starting to hit like 18, 19, 20, getting jobs, expendable income, and then they move into and graduate to games like Call of Duty, where they still appreciate the more cartoony, crazy, collaborations, but they're moving on to more serious gameplay. And so it's just, I think the industry is just shifting a lot. And unfortunately, when you're playing with millions and millions of dollars, it just doesn't really make sense to spend that, like you said, on a comparatively very high risk project. You can spend like $50 million developing a cool, interesting game with a small team of veterans, or you could put out a skin that makes you look like a furry in Call of Duty and sell it for $30 and make $50 million in a day.
That Raptor was pretty cool. Not gonna lie. They made like a Raptor skin. I did not buy it. I don't even have the Call of Duty like Modern Warfare 3, but
it's okay. It's in your
people
cart.
were tagging me.
It's in
People
your
were
cart.
tagging
You're
me.
waiting to buy it. Yeah. I'm gonna pull the trigger. So, yeah, I think that's why, Blake. Great question though. Great point.
Yeah.
Gautam, thank you for the 2. Jeff Grubb says Dragon Age looks very good. Frankly, it needs to. And the other thing is, it's got to differentiate itself from Baldur's Gate, because I think if it gets tossed into that,
it will. It will be action focused, I think, like more.
Yeah, and my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, what I recall was them comparing it in like those leaks. They compared it to like the over-the-shoulder gameplay of like God of War 2018. They were trying to go more like third-person action adventure as opposed to top-down, team-oriented, like tactical RPG stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna say what I see,
Okay.
and I can't share it, of course.
Okay. I'm ready.
It's not God of War.
I forget who I heard say that. Somebody did.
Yeah, I know.
Might just be making it up.
At least the video that was like going around that I made sure that I kept.
Oh,
Yeah,
here's
they have like it looks more Assassin's Creed to me in a way. It has like abilities, like an ability wheel, like an L and an R that you can like a sort of ultimate attack. We will see. We will see, but it's like very over the shoulder, like very focused on one character for sure.
Yeah, I found the Kotaku article that brought it up from February of last year, and in it they say the game features fully real-time combat and was allegedly designed as BioWare's take on God of War. Sword and Shield players can expect to do a lot of manual parrying. Players can perform combo attacks and special attack once a bar fills up. Oh, and party controls seem to have been removed, meaning you might not be able to switch between party members like you could in every other BioWare RPG. The last design choice feels very odd for a series whose core appeal was always adventuring with your witty queer friends.
Yeah.
I don't like, I know some people will be upset if that is in fact the case, but frankly, it's a much, this game would stand a much better chance if it feels and plays very unique compared to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if it even gets tossed in that consideration, I just don't think it can compete.
I just hope it doesn't release in November.
If it does, that's gonna, because I'm looking at one of the leaked screenshots, and I'll share this with Joe Raptor. If you guys really want to look it up, we can't stop you. You can find it. But in this leaked screenshot, specifically the one I'm looking at, Jor is like the third picture of the inventory screen. And this looks extreme. I mean, it looks straight up out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I mean, this looks...
Oh, yeah. I think I'm like, I shared that one as well. I had that one. Oh, it's still like up on X? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like I have like a different one. Oh, no, it's the same one. Yeah.
If anything, when I look at this,
no.
I think
It's
this
like
is inspired by
Destiny,
AC Odyssey. Yeah. I get AC Odyssey inspiration more than God of War inspiration.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that if they also get too close to looking just like Assassin's Creed or God of War, like that's also a problem, because when you enter those categories, people will start to compare you to your peers. If you look too much like Assassin's Creed, you can compete there, but you're going up against Ubisoft with thousands of employees and like some people that really know what they're doing. That could be a tough
No, they should be out before it. I think early October would be ideal for them if they can hit that.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. A lot of eyes are going to be on this because it is extremely rare for a company to have two back-to-back catastrophic flops and then be given another chance. Like, that is extremely rare. So I hope for their sake that they knock this out of the park. It would be an amazing comeback story if they were able to knock this out of the park.
Yeah, I hope it as well.
Well,
we need a thriving Bioware. I really think EA is gonna get rid of them if this flops. They're like, we can't do this anymore. Like, we have all these live service games. Well, why? It's like a distraction for us. So unless it's like a really good game that puts them similar to Jedi, it has to be their Jedi Fallen Order for the year.
Mm-hmm. It's got to pop off. The core fan base has to love it, and you got to get a lot of new players that are into it. I mean, my wife is a hardcore Dragon Age fan. She's so excited to see what this game is like, and so I'm going to be bouncing all of this off of her once we know more and see what she thinks of it. Because if she's not sold on, if she's like, ugh, icky, then that'll be, to me, like, okay, this is in trouble because she's like their target audience. So that'll be interesting. And then lastly, Leo brings up an interesting question. Do you think we see Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC at SGF or Xbox?
I'm not expecting it. It would be cool. There were... I mean, Dark Arisen took a pretty long time. And I think they are just going to focus on Monster Hunter. And not that's their biggest game. Like, probably Capcom's biggest game ever. If it's going to succeed or like do as well as Monster Hunter World. So yeah, I really think they're just going to focus on that. And maybe at Tokyo Game Show, if they are like, if there is Dragon Dogma 2 DLC, we don't know. I can see it be either there. I would love to be wrong though, and I do think, like, if you look at Capcom's lineup, they don't have a lot. They do have that other game though, that Kushi. I'm not gonna butcher the name. It's like do you remember this? It was like their sort of tower defense game. It was revealed at the Xbox Showcase last year. Capcom games.
Oh wait, that is vaguely familiar.
Maybe other people know it.
I don't know. I do vaguely remember seeing that.
Oh, it's a Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess.
Path of the Goddess.
Yeah. On Steam it is, and I can like show you the link to that.
Yeah, this was really, really bizarre. I remember just being like, what the hell is this game?
So I think they're probably gonna show that, and maybe with a release date, and that it's like Game Pass day one, and so I think it's. I don't think Dragon's Dogma 2 is gonna be it.
Yeah, this I remember just being like, what? It's like it's tower defense, but it's also like narrative, but it's also based. But like, what is happening?
And it's like single player, I think, as well. While it looks kind of multiplayer-y, but
yeah, it's really confusing. It's really bizarre. But maybe that just means it'll be extra amazing because it'll be so unique.
Yeah,
but I really don't know what that game is.
We have a new kick, ZTV saying Towerborn, like that's the new game from the Banner Saga people, like action RPG. Looks very, very cool. There are rumors that there might be a shadow drop and that it could be that game, which would be awesome. Anything with Lies of P DLC, I can see that happen at Xbox. So like, they of course had the Game Pass deal for that.
Yeah.
And I think Sarcasm is making a pretty interesting point. I think DD2 underperformed like crazy. I think it did very well, but like it sold more in 1 month, I think, than the first game and the DLC combined in the US. But I still think it could have been way bigger than what it was. 3 million sold right now. I expected way more.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a slow burn. I think that's a game that a lot of people are going to wait for sales on, just because it didn't, like, the performance wasn't great at launch. So Kind of makes sense. Like you lose out on
Yep.
so many so many buyers who are on the edge when performance isn't very good. And that game also was really struggling with performance. So just a lot of people said, okay, I'll just wait till it's 50% off. Easy. Beyond that, yeah, Towerborn, possible Shadow Drop. Yeah, there's just so much. Like Xbox could knock this out of the freaking park if they
especially with
do.
Sony not really doing, not being like that great.
It's kind of like 2 years in a row that Sony's just like, here you go.
We're selling, and well, why care? Why should we do this? Let's quickly go over one more thing about like Ubisoft, and then I think I quickly want to touch on. We've been going pretty long already for our show, but Splinter Cell remake. I think that could be like a fun surprise at Ubisoft. I think we talked about it before, but I looked at the LinkedIn from the producer. He started on it 3 years ago, July 2021. Like, Assassin's Creed Shadows is gonna be in development 4 years when it comes out. Do they really want to work longer on a remake of the first Splinter Cell? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So I really, my prediction has been, and I still stand by it. I think they will do the one. Like Ubisoft always has the sort of one more thing, or like the, hey, and we're gonna end with this. And Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay could totally be that, right? I mean, they could get away with that, but it's cool to sometimes, like, remember when we got that Avatar trailer 2 years before it came out, or Star Wars Outlaws gameplay last year that we did not expect. Like last year around this time, we were kind of like wondering, like we heard from a Kotaku article that Star Wars was gonna be there, but we were like, really? And then at Xbox it showed up, and it was like, whoa, that's a cool surprise. So it has been similarly quiet around Splinter Cell. So I hope we see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of potential there. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but last year came and went. There were some good reveals and everything, but it's been hard to get really, really excited for stuff this year so far. It feels like there's just been a lot of layoffs, a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustrations. And so it would be nice to get, some really cool reveals that get everybody excited again, and potential for some hardware stuff. PlayStation 5 Pro probably comes by the end of this year. There's rumors of an Xbox handheld maybe being revealed this year or next year, in addition to the discless Xbox as well. Switch 2 will probably be coming early next year. Like, there are things to be excited for. It just seems like everybody's super hesitant to reveal stuff too early, and then ultimately disappoint people with all the delays and stuff. So
I mean, that's what we saw to like segue to the Sony State of Play. Like, those games are coming out in less than 3 months. Like, Astrobot is December 6th or something, and Concord is August 23rd. And I would not be surprised if we see the Lego Horizon game that it will be like also September. Like, why not? And that's kind of what Sony is doing now. Like, they don't, like, they just shift focus from game to game. Right now, it's okay. We have to make sure everyone is focused on Concord and on Astrobot. When those games are out, we will see what's next. And then around this time last year or next year, they will probably reveal Ghost of Tsushima 2, and then that will be the focus because it comes out in a few months. Like, that seems to be their mantra. And yeah, I think that's kind of sad because I do think, like, for a PlayStation 5 Pro, if they want to launch that this year, I do think they have to talk more about the future to get people like, okay, why am I upgrading for these and these games? Right now, it's like, okay, we know Wolverine and Death Stranding 2 in terms of single player games. That's not a lot.
yeah.
So let's hope they do that. But yeah, overall, the State of Play for me wasn't that exciting, but it did have some cool games. I think Where Winds Meet looks pretty cool. Monster Hunter, we talked about that already. But I think I'm just gonna be fascinated. I want to try Concord, the beta. I hope it's like an open beta. I'm not sure if they said it already.
I think they said specifically if you pre-order the game, you get access to the beta with your friends. But I don't know if that means that that's the only way you get access?
I think they might do like a beta, like the Call of Duty one, where they're like, and then after that is ending, they're like, oh, there's also an open beta, so they're enticing people to pre-order first. But it's super hard. It's like people should be you should be paying people to try this game.
Yeah.
It kind of feels that way.
Yeah, it's as I was talking about on stream right before this, just to recap briefly my thoughts on it. Whenever you enter into a genre with your game where there is a clearly dominant game, you will be compared to the dominant force. Like if you're going to box in heavyweight, you're going to be compared to the heavyweight champion, whether you like it or not. You can come up with all sorts of reasons why that's not a fair comparison. Oh, well, he's taller than me. He's got bigger reach. Doesn't matter. You're in heavyweight. You're going to go up against him eventually. So you're going to be compared. And in this case, like they are, it's painfully similar to like Overwatch. And so they're going to be compared. And already at the very outset, you're charging $40 competing against the king that is free to play. Okay, already that's tough. Then you go in and it's like, yeah, and then I don't know if they've confirmed if the heroes are paid separately and separate upgrades or if they're all included, but
Oh, I hope they're all. They better be all included. Come on.
yeah, well,
They
was
had the free week. Yeah.
there was a weird split in the
agree, yeah.
gameplay where they show like the some of the heroes separated, and it's really odd
agree.
and interesting because it's like framed as free agents, I think is what they labeled them.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? But it established that they were going to separate certain heroes out into different categories. And at that point, I'm like, okay, so maybe they just pay for them, or it's like, if you bought the battle pass, you get access to these free agents that can join your squad and stuff, and they cycle out each battle pass or whatever.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they do something like that. So
I don't like they have to choose a lane. Like either go free to play and do that model, or be. I mean, they already said it will have free post launch content, which I think included these characters as well. So I don't know, but I mean, it's gonna be very interesting. On the other hand, like one of the things Overwatch, of course, learned was when they. Like one of the reasons they went paid, or what they said, is that they wanted everyone to get access to all the characters, because otherwise in a week where there are only 4 characters that are free, you will only have the same characters in the team. I'm not even sure if that's possible. Like you have 5, probably, like you can't have the same. I mean, we did not see that in the gameplay, so I don't know if that. I think the free agent stuff is something different. That's what I'm kind of getting at, but it was very interesting to see for sure. It had some interesting ideas, like apart from that, it looked very very samey to all the other hero-based shooters, but like the equipment that you drop between rounds that stays, so you can kind of think ahead already, which is kind of interesting, and of course the cutscenes they have. But yeah, that also if this was like a Guardians of the Galaxy game, everyone was like, oh, I want to see the cutscenes. And now it's like, you have to work to make me care. But this game really feels like a checklist. Like it feels like, okay, we need something to make people care about the characters. It just feels so separate. Like we saw the cinematic trailer, looked interesting. I was not really a fan of some of the dialogue, but still, I think the setting, I was like, okay, if this is a single player game, I'm at least gonna keep an eye on it and maybe try it when it comes out. But like the whole gameplay felt super disconnected. Like they're chilling on the ship, chilling together, making fun, blah, blah, blah. And then the next they're fighting each other, killing each other. Like, what is going on here, right? It's really like, we want to make this game. Okay, we have to make characters that people like. Let's make these cutscenes. And then I don't see how this is all connected at all.
Yeah, I'll also try it. We'll see. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, kind of like Helldivers 2. But the thing with Helldivers is it didn't look like bad, and at least it looked unique. With this,
Yeah.
it's hard to figure out what's truly different other than some of the gear can stay between rounds. That's interesting. Is that enough to justify $40 and potentially other things like battle passes, paid heroes, stuff like that? I don't think so. people are going to go into this very, very skeptically, very, I would even say in some cases cynically. And in order to be successful in this industry or in this genre, you have to be so good that you win the first person over and they try it and play it. And then it has to be so good that they can convince their friends to move from Overwatch to come and play this. And it has to be so good with post-launch content that people stay there and are not given a reason to pull out and go back to Overwatch. And that is extremely difficult to pull off, especially for like a new team, a new IP. And I don't see it coming, or I don't see it happening. But that's exactly kind of the thought process is they're gambling on this. If it pays off, they'll make Overwatch money, which is very good money. If it doesn't, it's just they wasted years and years of development and millions and millions of dollars.
Sony is like, we have to at least try, and especially with Microsoft now owning Overwatch, they're like, we want our own Overwatch, but that's the wrong way of thinking about it. They should have thought like a few steps ahead already. Like, what is the future of these types of games? Let's make that. And this was more, okay, let's just make what works with characters that nobody cares about. Like, that's, I mean, Overwatch did a way better job at making you care about the characters from day one. Like, those trailers were amazing, and those characters were way more lovable.
Yeah, but that guy likes hot sauce, Joe Raptor. Don't you get it? That's the most likable thing ever.
I did not even get that. That's the crazy part. I watched the video later where they were explaining. I was like, oh yeah, he had like a hot sauce, and I did not get. I didn't care. I don't know. I only like the robot. The Big Hero 6 ripoff in yellow.
That's the thing. Like, everywhere you look, it's just, it feels like archetypes taken from other stuff. And at some point, people are just going to be like, yeah, I'll just go play the original thing, you know? Like, I'll just go do the original thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we will see it. We will probably talk more about it. I'm sure you will make some interesting videos about it.
Make plenty of videos. Yeah, they set me up for all sorts of content. These corporate bigwigs, they're really helping me out this year.
No.
Yeah. I was telling people, I was like, if you grade like based on profit, I have made more profit off of Suicide Squad than Warner Brothers did, because they're still down like $200 million.
Oh my god!
Like, even if I made 50 cents, I'd be ahead of them, which is hilarious. But anyway, this is all wonderful. We have a very exciting week coming ahead. Probably some surprises for all of you and for us as well. I'm very excited, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, and we are both going, so let's meet.
Yeah, let's do it. It'll be good.
I want to give the usual update because it's pretty good. People, if you're listening, if you're watching, we love you, because every time I look at the amount of stars, the likes that we have on Spotify, because of course, next to being on the Luke Stevens Live channel every Wednesday, we also post on the audio platforms, including Spotify. And if you're there on mobile, you can give us a 5-star. That would be really great. And we're climbing because we're now at 102.
Oh,
and I think last time we were at like 93 or something.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are giving us those stars. If you're watching live right now, go do that as well. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's the weekly update. You know who you are. If you gave the stars, we appreciate you. And maybe catch us live. But of course, if you're just on the audio platforms, you can stay there as well if you want. Do what you want. You can get the show where you want, when you want, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Did you guys hunt down the guy that did the 4-star review? No, but I did put the hit out. So we're waiting on the update.
It's not gonna be long. It's we're still at the 4.9. Can we ever go back to 5? Let's figure that out together. If we all give 5 stars now, can we go?
Will it round up
at one
eventually?
point it would be like 0.0% or something, or 0.1%. If it's just one person.
I don't know. I don't know if they round down. I don't know. We'll investigate.
I mean, one
it's
way to find
extremely
out.
important. I will put all other things to the side. I will
Yeah.
tell my children to go play by themselves, and I will find out if we can get to 5.
It's
We're-
a free roam podcast, of course.
Oh yes, Free Roam Podcast on all social media platforms and everything. Sorry,
No,
my
you can't, says Amy. I mean, like, as always with things, I want to see and then believe. So, what would the math be if. How many reviews do we need to see if it works? I don't know. Let's just
let's just quickly get to 1,000 reviews, and then we'll talk about it at that point. We'll figure out.
Yeah,
where we're
yeah,
at. Yeah, it'll be great. Thank you all for listening and watching. You all are wonderful. We appreciate you greatly.
Oh, one more thing. The outsider just says, "What happens if I give 3 stars?" I mean, you don't want to find out. That's. I think you will wake up on the ocean alone on a mattress without your phone, and it won't be a night. It will not be a nightmare. It will be real. And then you wonder, like, what did I do wrong? And then at one point you will realize you're free roaming on the ocean, and we won't miss you. So
No one will feel
think
bad.
about that.
Yeah,
think about that.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I always like ending on feel good threats. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
where I like to leave it. Much love, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Hugs and
Good.
kisses.